Okay, welcome. We're going to talk about Office 365 and Outlook. One of the biggest things that people misunderstand is they don't use but a third of what Outlook will do for them. And with Office 365, it's especially a great thing because there's a lot more functionality you can do. We know we have a lot of things that we can do collaboratively, but email has a lot of things that we do not use on a regular basis. So our email is part of our Outlook client, calendar, and people. So in Office 365, let's first talk about just flat out just sending an email. So if I click New Mail here, a lot of the functionality, remember I'm completely online, I'm logged in, and I have, so if I want to send an email to my friend at usmie.com, who's also named Jill, I can put her email in there. I have option that I can say training, and I can go and I can click on several links. So I can save it, I can blind copy, I can show who it's from, I can check names to see if the email, I can set importance, and it's got some other things where if I want to read receipt or different things like that I can do. So all those functionalities are still in Office 365. The question is I'm in the cloud, so I can access any of this functionality being completely online. I can insert any type of attachment. If I go down here to my customization, I have a lot more. I can do bullets, superscript and subscript, so it allows me to see, and right now I've got some things checked, but if I wanted to see a few more options here, undo, which is always popular, I can look at that and I can change my fonts. I'm going to say, so normally I would type in and do different, but we're not going to do that for right now, so I'm going to discard this, and I'll say yes, discard this message. Now if I wanted to save it, it would save it, and it would actually save it in my drafts. So those are emails I'm working on, but I have not got them, I've not sent them yet, and it shows a couple drafts here. You also notice I've got quite a few email boxes. So just like with full Outlook, Outlook Online by Outlook Web App, I can right click on this and create a new folder and name that folder whatever I want. I can also set up different types of policies, how long that I retain a different thing. So if I just want to retain any type of thing before it goes into an archive, so it allows me to do that. I've also got permissions. So if I click on permissions, I can set the permissions of that folder, and here it is. So I can say, what are my permissions of this? Right now, don't really have much because I'm into my account. I can also move things. So all of this is part of Outlook. I can also set up rules. So let's say that I want to set up a rule for Miss Vincent here. I can actually say create a rule or assign a policy, either one. So if I create a rule, there we go. I can say for if it's received from Diane, that I want it to move to a folder, and I can select a folder. So it allows me to do some things, and I have some things set up that way. Things I get from certain people will go into their folder, and then I can see, so like right now, I have a folder right here. That's STEM committee, and because it's bold means that it has something in it. So I'm going to click on that, so it's going to load this folder. And I have an email here that I haven't read yet. It has the little one beside it, and I can read and see what's going on there. So it gives me lots of functionality. But let's say that I need to set up a meeting. A lot of times we send an email to someone and say, hey, do you have time at this time? Well, no. What we want to do is go to Calendar, and under Calendar, which is a nice functionality, I can actually look at my calendar for the month. I can share it to the week. I can also share that calendar. So if I click Shared Calendar, I can share this calendar with anybody that I want. Now what a shared calendar looks like is if I go down here to Training Calendar and click on it, it shows up right there. So anything in green is on a different calendar. So I can look at that. I can see if those are scheduled, and this training calendar is where we schedule training. So if you'll notice, they don't have anything scheduled on Wednesday. I'm going to double click that, and I'm going to say new event. And so what I want to do is say training for Office 365, location boardroom. And I'm going to send this to Jill at usmie.com. And I can set the duration. So we need about 90 minutes. I can set the time. So we're going to change our time to about 9 a.m. I'm going to say show me as busy. I can tell it to repeat if I need to. So if we're going to do training for a couple of weeks, every Wednesday for this long, we can do that. The main difference here is that, and I can request response for this meeting. A response would mean that they would actually say, yes, I want to. So we'll show you the differences here in just a second. So I can come up here and then I can type the message and say, Jill, could you please see if this Alright, so once I set that and I hit send, it automatically puts it tentatively on, it puts it on my calendar, and then it sends one to Jill. And then she can accept it or not. So if I click on this, I can see I have no responses yet. It has the message, and it does that. If I click on edit, at any point I can send, update this, maybe I change the time, whatever, and send it again, and anybody that's on the attendee list will get the updated. I can also click on scheduling assistant, and under scheduling assistant, it's going to show each person here. So that allows me to do that. Now let's say that I need to cancel this meeting now. So I'm going to hit cancel meeting, and I'm going to say, yes, please cancel the meeting. And it's going to say, do you want to send this to your attendees? And I'm going to say yes. It sends it to, and it takes it off the calendar. So at any time I can cancel that meeting, and it will notify those other people. So as we start looking, the calendar feature allows us to save time. So we don't have to do what I call the email tango, trying to find the right time. I send you a time, and then you can counter with me, and that is also populating our calendars. So if we're using mobile devices with that, it makes it really nice. So I'm going to go to people next. This is probably one of the biggest functionalities that we really love to do. And one of the great things is if you're in an organization, everybody that's set up on that email will actually be set up where you can see them, and you can email them or do anything else. And this is my contacts, but also if I go to groups, I can see all the groups for my schools and see who's in those groups, and I can email them. So when we start looking about organizational skills, Office 365 allows me to do a lot before I ever get into what we're talking about, sharing documents. If I use Outlook, Calendar, and People very efficiently, it's going to save me a lot of time as an instructor with my kids, also as someone who works with teachers on a daily basis for training. So thank you.